100,000 times better, because this thing it was rough. It still looks a little rough, but once I clean it up, get this yard together, we're gonna be good. So we're here at our Purdom rehab today, okay? So last time we were here, you saw what we were trying to do on the inside and the outside. We were trying to clean up the yard. Right now it's like 2,000 degrees outside, summertime in Texas, go figure. So we're gonna focus on the inside today so that way we can get out of this heat. So what we've been working on here lately is we've got the interior painted, or at least the paint started. They're gonna go back and do the molding and the trim here soon. So all the sheetrock's finished, the texture's on, the paint has started. The cabinet doors have been painted. The cabinets have just been painted. The guys came yesterday to measure for the countertops. All the plumbing's been replaced. The tubs have been set in the bathroom. So now we've laid all the floors and a Dura-Rock backer so that way we can put tile up on the walls and tile up the showers. So a lot of stuff's been started. Also, the air conditioning and the electrical are currently being installed. We had to replace the electric panel box, and we're adding HVAC throughout the whole home where they used to use window units. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts, but this rehab is on schedule and is doing real well. So exterior, man, the trees and the branches, just one thing you think about when you're doing exterior is, hey, I gotta cut some of these trees back and cut the branches down. But what you underestimate often, and what we miss sometimes, is the haul off of those trees and branches. We've cut a ton of trees back there, a ton of branches. There's still a ton of trees, so we get a lot of shade, but just the haul off, every time we dump the dumpster, it's 600, 700 bucks. And so we've dumped it 4 times. It's half full again now. I'll have to dump it one more time because we've got a dead tree in the backyard that's being removed on Saturday, and that's the one that had those killer attack bees in it. So we're trying to get that out of here, and I've got to dump the dumpster one more time. That'll be another 700 bucks, just so that way when they cut that tree down, they can throw it in the dumpster, and then I get to dump it again. I'm pretty happy with the progress. We've had some issues with some of my specialty contractors, been a little bit behind here and there, but for the overall time period of how long we've been on this one, it's going really well and we're still on schedule. We might slightly be ahead of schedule. Since I didn't change the floor plan on this one, I'm able to kind of keep pace pretty quickly. If I'd have come in and start removing walls and changing stuff, then it would have took a little bit more time, which would have pushed our rehab completion date back. So I didn't do any of that on this one. Keep the floor plan the same, get to the finish line. So shifting gears a little bit, we're in Alvarado, Texas, in the county, so just outside city limits. We're at this Forest Wood property. Keep in mind, I'm still a realtor, that's my main occupation. So I'm looking at this property for the first time. It is an investment property for the seller, and he has asked me to put the property up for sale so that way he can get buyers in and make his profit on his return. So we're here just checking it out for the first time. I am doing some measurements, descriptions, so that way I can get it online, get it on the market, and so we can get this thing sold pretty quickly. So the rehab that I've seen just from my own eyes, it looks pretty good. This is a mobile home, so ultimately you're not gonna do some of the same finishes and touches that you do on a traditional single family, but they have ripped out all the flooring, they've patched up all the walls, the AC is in great shape. They've kind of resurfaced the kitchen and added backsplash in there. All the floors and stuff look good. They put the waterproof vinyl down. So overall, I give it a high score on rehab evaluation. I think it looks good, it feels good, and the property is cool. It sits on about an acre or so, and it has an additional mobile home that's on the property, which could be used as like mother-in-law quarters or something else that you could kind of get creative with. So I think the property will do really well once it's listed. So a couple things that I would have done differently. I probably would not have added carpet in the bedrooms. I know that that's a quick fix for a lot of flooring issues that you may have, but I didn't feel a lot of foundation movement in there. So carpet usually hides the foundation movement. I would have went vinyl all the way through. That's number one. Number two, they've got the fiberglass inserts in the bathroom. So it's just basically a piece that you put in. It's almost like plastic. And it's water resistant, but it's not very, very durable over time. So it kind of gives a cheap feel. It's not cheap, but it kind of gives a cheaper look than if you were to straight tile it. So one of the things I would have done differently is just put the backer on there and tiled it up. I'm not sure what we're gonna list it for yet. It'll probably be north of 200,000 because it has the land and it is nice and completely redone on the inside. Where exactly it falls on that scale, I'm not 100% sure yet. I never guess. Always look at the property in person and then go back and evaluate the numbers and come to a solution with the seller. So that's how we run our business. That's how we'll do this one also. So we're here in Cleburne, Texas at our client's rehab property on May Street. We're just checking out some of the finishing touches that have been added since the last time we were here. Before, the countertops were not on in the kitchen. Some of the trimmings and the finish outs where the fixtures weren't done in some of the rooms and the bathrooms. The backsplash wasn't done in the kitchen. So we are just checking out the final stages. The contractors have just painted the exterior and it looks fantastic. There's decks on the front porch and the back patio. So there's just a lot of stuff that's been done here recently that we're coming to investigate and make sure everything's going as smooth as possible before she decides to put it out there and get a tenant in here. Issues that the current owner has run into. I had an issue with her because we had put together a plan for what to spend on what materials, and she decided that she was gonna go way over the budget on appliances, which I promptly told her that she wasn't, and we changed that order. So we just kind of had to rethink about how we were approaching the rehab. Typically when you're rehabbing a property, especially if it's your first one, you're rehabbing it as though you would live in it. And it's not always cost effective to do it that way. So we had a quick lesson on, hey, this is what we're supposed to spend to stay on budget, and we got that rectified. The appliances are not put in, but they are on order. We've downgraded those appliances, still quality stuff, but just not as expensive, and they'll be delivered later on this month. So as far as what's left, it's really just the finishing touches. The bulk of the paint is done. That was the biggest item on the list for this property that was remaining. Just cleaning up the exterior, the yard, the trees, and then turning around and just touch up paints and drywall patches here and there. And this property should be ready to go, also after the appliances have been put in. As far as what the market is, average rent over here for a home this size in Cleburne, close to downtown, is about $2,000 a month. I know that the owner is going to shoot for a little bit higher than that. And so I think with the way that the property has turned out, the finishes, the way that the floor plan turned out being so good, I think she'll have a good chance of getting it.